Welcome, friends. My name is Silas Ollegario, and I'm the host of Think Onward, a podcast about books, studies, productivity, and lifestyle. Now, after the intro. And after skipping a week, believe me, was not on purpose. Here we are again. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Think Onward. I'm Silas Ollegario, the host, and unfortunately, I had to miss last week's episode. I gave myself a 2 weeks break, because, well, you understand. As I talk through this episode why I had to miss last week's podcast. But how you doing? I hope you're doing great. I hope you're enjoying yourselves. It's almost the end of July. It's still mid-July for people. Some people think 21 of July is still the middle. For me, we're going towards the end. And I'm excited. It's been a good day. I'm recording this on Wednesday, 21, 10. Right now it's 10 p.m. and that's great. I'm so glad to be here. I'm so glad to be back recording my podcast, recording this episode to you. And I just would like to remind you that in a normal occasion, I like to post these episodes every Wednesday, and I like to do it early. Normally Wednesday mornings. As soon as we wake up, an episode is gonna be available every Wednesday, Mountain Time every Wednesday. However, I've been having a crazy ride on the past maybe 1 month for sure, maybe for the last 2 months. It's been a little bit difficult to have the thing that I like to talk about a lot, which is consistency. But I'm able to do this this week. I also have a YouTube channel. In case you have no idea, just type my name, Silas Ollegario with 2 L's, and you're gonna find my videos that I post every Saturday. There I post the same kind of content. I talk about books, I talk about productivity and studies, but I also talk about stuff that happened that week, and it's not a vlog, not something like that, but it's something that happened to me, and it got me thinking something that it's supposedly very important for me, and I like to share, and that's why I use the podcast. That's why I use the YouTube channel, because I wanna have a place where I can express myself, and I want to have people over. I want to have guests. I want to talk about the things that I'm passionate about. And I use the podcast. I use Think Onward for this. And I also use my YouTube channel for this. I've been very active on my Instagram account. Also, so you haven't following me. If you haven't followed me there, you can. I post stuff every day, but nothing important. I know Instagram is not a place. In my opinion, Instagram is not the place for important stuff. Instagram is a place for things for the day, things that are mostly not important, like going to the gym, eating this, hashtag lunch. But I've been posting every afternoon. I've been posting English tips for people who are learning English, because as I understand, because I'm a Brazilian guy having this English podcast, that's gonna be the idea is that people from English speaking countries are gonna listen to this podcast, but English is the language that the entire world speaks, and I like to imagine that a lot of people who follow me and follow this podcast and my YouTube channel, they are learning English, they are practicing their English, and they have this. Listening to a native sometimes can be overwhelming, sometimes can be difficult, because a native speaker is not going to try to sound, is not going to try to change the vocabulary so us, people who are not natives, can understand them better. And on this podcast, maybe people are going to find it's a little bit easier to follow, and it's going to be, but I like to talk about consistency, and I haven't been consistent in so many things, and you're gonna understand why. Because my wife and I, we moved. No, we haven't moved to Canada yet. It's the process is still going. We're almost there. No, I promise. As soon as I have big news, I'm going to announce this on my YouTube channel here, and everybody's gonna know. And I'm gonna be so thrilled to give this kind of announcement. But that's not the kind of move we had. What happened? We are about to go to a new place, to a new house. Oh my God, Silas, you're moving to a new country. Why are you changing places right now? And let me tell you, we pay rent, and the rent in the apartment we were living was just now it got to a point that was unbearable. It was unbearable. The owner of the place decided that keeping the price, keeping the rent amount wasn't something she could do. She had to increase, and because she had to increase, I said, okay, so now I have to move. She did not like that, but she didn't want to give up on the idea of increasing the rent. We've been living there for almost 4 years, never missed a payment, never missed, not even for a day, as people are supposed to. But still, she got new people who were willing to pay that crazy amount of money, extra money she was asking for, and that's great. It's her place; she deserves it. It was very good living there, but because my mother-in-law, she's got actually her house is she kind of has a double house because there's a house behind her house, but it was abandoned. It was crazy abandoned, like wall problems and flooring problems and everything. Didn't have a kitchen, a proper bathroom, nothing. So my wife and I, we got to this point in our lives that we had to put this into paper and decide, through math, what we were gonna do. And because of mathematics, the easiest thing, not easiest, but the smartest thing to do was to remodel that place. It was almost like a fixer-upper. I love that show, Fixer Upper. Shout out to Chip and Joanna Gaines. They always listen to this podcast. I'm obviously kidding. But it was a Fixer Upper. We hired a guy and a contractor and all the people, all the teams there working. And they gave us 5 weeks for the entire project to be, given to us. It's been 3 weeks, and this is the week number 4. But we already had to last week, to give the apartment back to the owner. But our parents said, you know what? You don't have to go to a hotel. You don't have to rent another place, even if it's temporarily. You can stay in our place. They don't have a big place, but it's big enough so they can accommodate my wife and I and our cat, Mahi. And it's been actually very nice. We've been here since last Friday, having fun watching TV as a family because my mom is on vacation. We are still working from home here in Brazil. And it's crazy because we spend this long time as a family together, except for my sister, because my sister is back working, at her place that she works, and she doesn't stay home. She doesn't have the possibility of working from home that my dad, my wife, and we all have. And my mom being on vacation, so we're having breakfast together, lunch together. Really love spending time together. And because my parents are so aware that this being together is not something that is going to be, present in our lives for too long, because we're going to move to Canada, Rebecca and I, they are actually enjoying an extra mile of this. They're enjoying every single moment. And I can tell by this, it's nice because I have this podcast and I can open up myself about these details here, these dynamics I have in my family, because besides my wife, they all listen to my podcast, but they don't understand shit, because my mom, my dad, my sister, they don't speak any English. So I can talk about them, and they are never going to know I talked about them. But it's been a real blessing, for this staying here this week and the next one until our place is ready. And it's great to have a family that you can count on. And so our house, oh my God, I don't know if you have already been through a remodeling, but it's so stressful because there are so many things you have to buy. I don't know how it works exactly if you're living in Canada or South Africa, United States. But here in Brazil, you hire a contractor, and this contractor is gonna bring all the people who are gonna work. But every detail you're gonna have to buy. You don't give the money to the contractor, and they fix everything and they decipher everything. You just decide what color you want. No, here you pay a lot of money for the contractor and the people who are gonna work. But every time you have to buy materials, you gotta do this yourself. So I've become friends with a guy from a very huge, home center here in Brasilia, and of course he's my friend now because I've spent so much money with him. His commission is been rising up quick. Deciding stuff and buying stuff and everything in Brazil is so expensive. I know people like to blame the pandemic for the rise in the prices, but the reality is the cost of living in Brazil is not gigantic unless you start considering the cost of living in so many other countries, like in Canada or US. We pay so much, not just for the services, but for the products. And that's basically the problem because, as I understand, in Canada and the US, and I like to use Canada and US because I'm more familiar with them. And I know that the services are expensive. You actually pay a lot for people who work and they provide a service or any kind of service. And that's the way it is supposed to be, right? Because if someone is providing a service because they studied or because they have experience or just because they know how to do something that you don't, or they are willing to do something that you're not willing to, it makes sense. But when you have to pay a lot of money for a product, it's really weird. When we bought the flooring, it was a crazy amount of money. That, oh my God, really? Are we paying this much just for the flooring? And then we found out that the thing I don't know the name in English, but the thing they put in between the flooring, every piece of the flooring, is actually almost as expensive as the flooring itself. And I spent almost 2,000, almost no, I'm sorry, over 2,000 reais, which today is almost $500, only with no cables towards electricity. So not the service of the guy, electricianist, no, just in cables, and that's a crazy amount of money. It's unbelievable, and that's it. That's why the last couple of weeks have been really stressful. And when I say stressful, I mean full of stuff that I'm not used to. I have to work, and when I'm not working, I have to think about the visa and the immigration in Canada and university next term, and etc. And then when I'm not doing this, I have to think about the home here, about the place we're gonna be living here, and it's just too much. And then when something is too much, when something is overwhelming, when you are overwhelmed in life, you have to make decisions. You can rest because you understand resting is important, just as much working out as eating well as relaxing as being with people you love as. But at the same time, you have to decide not to do some stuff. Sometimes it's necessary. And today, although I love recording this podcast, it's something that causes me some kind of relief. I believe that this podcast today is the only place I can talk about what I'm feeling 100%. Of course, I have my wife for this, and she is the one who knows 100% of my stuff. But it's so interesting to have a place that I can record this, and people are gonna listen to this, and they are not gonna talk to me about it. there's this weird feeling that although I'm sharing this, the response to the things I'm sharing, it's not gonna be. I'm not gonna get the response, and that makes me feel free because you know what? I don't care if people like or dislike. I want to create content, and I know we have haters, and I've believe me, I have only 90 people subscribed to my channel. I have like I don't know a couple of hundred downloads on my podcast, but still, I know people are not gonna talk to me about it unless they want to talk about something they found interesting. So the feeling that I'm here and sharing and opening up my heart is so great. It's such a good feeling to have. So when you are overwhelmed with lots of stuff that you gotta do, it's easy to because you're gonna have a moment that you're gonna have to. You know what? I'm too tired. I'm too overwhelmed. I'm not doing that today. I'm not doing this thing tomorrow. You know, I'm gonna change this to my schedule and etc. And what I decided to do last week because we were already moving and slowly transitioning from my old apartment to my parents' place was that I decided, you know what? It's Wednesday evening. I'm so tired. And I'm not recording a podcast today. And maybe I'm doing tomorrow, but then Thursday was crazier than Wednesday, and then Friday was absolutely a mess. Was moving day, and then Saturday I had church things that I was not willing to give up on now. And because that's it, you're gonna have things that are gonna have to give up, things that are gonna have to. You know what? I'm not doing this today, and things that you're definitely gonna say, you know what? Yes, this is what I'm not doing. And I'm sorry if I've disappointed you somehow. But last week I decided not to record a podcast for this reason. But now we are settled here in my parents' place. We were actually watching Botched. All of us there in the living room, big TV, having fun, eating oranges as a family. It's a crazy stuff, We slept late last night because the Olympics started, the Olympic Games in Tokyo. It started, and so we woke up very early to watch the Brazilian women's soccer team playing, and they crashed. They crushed China. It was 5-0, amazing game, amazing match. And then we watched softball, cheering for Canada, and cheering for Italy, playing against the U.S. Tomorrow, I don't know how you're going to say this, but tomorrow morning here in Brazil, very early, 5 a.m., Canada is going to play against the U.S. So we're going to obviously cheer for Canada because we feel like Canada is our home, the place we chose to live, the place we chose to call home. And that's it. We're gonna do it, and it's been a blessing. It's been great. I've been the only problem with the last 2 weeks is that I haven't been able to stop, and read my books. I like to talk about books. I have a book that I have to finish this next week because I'm gonna have the video on the other Saturday about it. It's Atomic Habits by James Clear. Great book. Great. When I say great, I'm not exaggerating. It is a great book, but I do have to finish. And sometimes I'm just too overwhelmed and too tired, and I don't want to read. I know I talk about consistency and reading every day, but reading is already part of my habits. And I buy books, and I don't have to create some. It's different because I already have this, and I already creating my heart in my life the urging for reading, and I've just been too tired. But for example, tomorrow, I know I'm going to separate. I already separated in my schedule a time to go back to my reading because this past week I have been neglecting this. And yeah, what else? Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I know, oh my God, 19 minutes, 20 minutes talking about this kind of stuff. But again, it's something that it brings me joy, understanding, sharing these things, these details from my life. Um, it's a little weird when you're married and you're 32 years old, and you have for some reason have to go back to your parents' house, even if it's just for 2 weeks until your place is ready. But the house is not a mess because my wife and my mom, they're extremely organized and they help us. And I say my wife and my mom not because it's their responsibility, but because they are the ones who make the most. My job basically is taking the car, going to the supermarket, doing stuff outside, and my parents and my father is the same. My mom and my wife, they take care of stuff inside of the house basically. And I don't know if you agree with this, but that's the way it works in our house. Um, that's the way it has been working in our house for the past couple of days. I believe that's it. Just for instance, I'm not. You imagine, okay, Silas, where are you? If your family is in the living room, yes, I'm not even in the bedroom I'm in my sister's bedroom. My sister still lives with my parents, and I'm in her room here, looking myself in the mirror because she has this dresser, gigantic dresser full of stuff. And the pictures in the wall is very feminine room. But I'm having a blast. I just think this transition from the apartment to here is going to be very important because let's be honest, once I move to Canada, it's going to be very difficult to come and visit my folks here in Brazil. We're going to have to, we understand this, and we want to have this understanding, like not just now, but we're going to have to use this understanding when we are saving money to buy a new house, when you are saving money for something that we have to do there in Canada, and coming to Brazil will not be our priority. And of course, my parents are gonna go visit us, and my sister and my in-laws. But this thing of seeing every week or seeing every month and living together as we're doing right now, it's not gonna happen. Not anytime soon. Maybe for the next 2, 3, 5 years, maybe we won't be able to come and visit them and be with them as much as we are with them right now. And that's why I'm thinking that this moment is so precious and so important. And I believe God has His plan so well set. And although we don't see the whole picture, that's the way I decided to live my life. I want to always not just believe, but I want to act like someone who's trusting God the whole time throughout this process, that He's taking care of everything, that He's going to take care of my parents once I'm done, once I'm gone from Brazil, once I leave Brazil. And at this moment, where I can do is stay here with them and have fun with them. And then because they are blessing us so much, not just because they provided shelter for free, but because having this family time has been so important. For sometimes it's gonna be Rebecca and I in Canada, so that's why this thing that's why this is so amazingly important. And I believe that's it. I believe that's how I want to finish this episode. And again, I'm so sorry I missed last week, but here we are again. Amazon Music, Spotify, Deezer, Google Podcast, and also on YouTube, on my channel on YouTube. Just type Silas Ollegario, and you're going to find me and the other almost 100 people who follow me there. And videos every Saturday. And, of course, this podcast every Wednesday. And, yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you had fun. I hope you understood why things are crazy. And, yeah. Hope I'll catch you next week. Bye-bye.